Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker taking the Labor Day holiday to recognize all of the important things that those in labor have done for workers' rights. But it wasn't the only thing he focused on social media over the weekend. He also talked about how he sees certain people moving to the state of Illinois and also chastising other states for their policies on things like transgender ideology. Welcome back. Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. So what we have here is Governor J.B. Pritzker on social media. If you don't follow him on Facebook, for instance, or Twitter, they're essentially kind of linked. So he shares photos of different events, and then he shares, videos of him talking about something that happened last month, where you had the U.S. Department of Labor show up and announce grants that support women in trades, who make up a good chunk of the workforce. So the governor heralded that. But again, you see some of the comments and people talking about 32 shot in the city over the weekend. Don't let these gangbangers know about the new gun laws. Will they comply? So interesting to see some of those comments. But also, something that the governor highlighted on his social media is a Chicago chalk beat news story about families relocating to Illinois to protect their transgender children. We'll touch on that news story here in a moment, but the governor says on social media, as governor of Illinois, I've made it my mission to make our state the best to raise a family, including for our LGBTQ plus community. If you're looking for a place to be authentically yourself, come on to Illinois. Trans rights are human rights here. So he highlights this story, families relocating to Illinois. And if you look at the story, it talks about, a family who was researching various states about transgender policies. And this one family in particular lived in Florida, and they had a bunch of, quote, anti-trans bills, many targeting transgender youth, including this woman's 11-year-old son. That this particular article highlights and goes into some of the concerns they had and how they're looking at states like Illinois, for instance. So the governor heralding that, but listen, we've got a population situation in the state of Illinois where you've had consecutive census counts year after year after year, even the 10-year census showing that Illinois has lost population, despite Democrats attempting to try to get the U.S. Census to revise those numbers upward, saying that the census screwed up. I don't think that the census has changed that, and Illinois' population continues to decline. So the governor highlighting transgender philosophies as why he thinks that people should come to Illinois. Let alone, the idea that Illinois' business climate could use some work. We've heard that from business leaders across the state about, the high cost of workers' compensation, the unemployment debt situation, and how businesses have to, essentially cover that. So a lot of concerns about the state's population, but the governor, again, focusing on, being a safe community for LGBTQ plus families. He also goes on to highlight another story where he welcomes Karen to Illinois. We're so excited to have you here. And that links to an IdahoStatesman.com editorial piece titled, "While Extremists Chase Away an Idaho Teacher of the Year, State's Leaders Stay Silent." And if you look at that article in particular, and again, the governor saying, hey, welcome to Illinois, Karen. We're so excited to have you. If you read this article, "While Extremists Chase Away Teacher of the Year, State's Leaders Stay Quiet," Idaho's 2023 Teacher of the Year, Karen Lorenzen, previously a fourth grade teacher, has left the state, chased away by far-right extremists. This article says. It goes on to talk about how Karen was targeted and attacked for her, quote, left-wing activism. She supported LGBTQ plus students, African-American students, and apparently taught about the United Nations. But the teacher was accused of promoting transgenderism. Extremists reportedly found social media posts in which she showed support for the LGBTQ plus community and Black Lives Matter, as if supporting all students were a bad thing and a teacher must go. But Lorenzen has since left left Idaho and moved to Illinois, according to this op-ed piece. Hopefully where her talents are better appreciated. Idaho's loss is Illinois' gain. The teacher is still Idaho's Teacher of the Year, and she's still running for National Teacher of the Year. So we'll see what happens with Karen. But, offsetting tens of thousands of people with, a handful of others, is that a big win? But again, the governor highlighting on his social media, welcome to Illinois, Karen. Another article he has here that he highlighted, and just to kind of show you some of the priorities, he talks about the transgender issue. He says, I'm so sick and tired of hearing more and more states banning gender-affirming care. That's an interesting term there that's being promulgated. Some people see it as gender-affirming care. Others see it as body modification or body mutilation or, drug intervention of biological hormone production. But the governor goes on to say that Illinois is fighting for a future where the trans community can live freely without fear of persecution. In fact, we've safeguarded those very rights. And then he links to a CNN article about the Texas Supreme Court allowing a ban on, quote, gender-affirming care for most minors. So the article's about laws to restrict gender, quote, affirming care, or as others would see it, body mutilation or, introducing hormone therapy to block the natural progress of puberty on children. And that's what the governor shares, saying that Illinois safeguards those rights. But listen, I mean, there's other articles out there in the ether, so to speak, that highlight how, for instance, here's a headline from the Epic Times: mother-daughter to receive $100,000 settlements in landmark secret gender transition case. I'll read to you from this. The lawsuit filed June 14th. It's out of California. School districts that was sued over allegations the teacher and staff coached an 11-year-old girl to socially transition to a male gender identity. Well, they settled with the mother and the girl for $100,000. Again, this was filed on June 14th. The article goes on to say that the woman and her daughter, who's now 16, echoed her mom's sentiments, saying that she was ready to put the experience behind them, calling it evil and horrible. It was a massive victory. Others said that they got the settlement. According to the Center for American Liberty and allegations in the lawsuit, the young girl was recruited to join an equality club where she was taught about bisexuality, transgender identities, and other LGBT concepts when she was in the 6th grade. Alicia began to use a male name and pronouns and wore a chest binder under boys' clothes. School staff finally called a meeting the last day before winter break during Alicia's 7th grade year and demanded that the mother refer to her daughter as a male by name and male pronouns. She said that she was definitely intimidated by the teachers. So the story goes on that, they're urging parents to get more involved with their kids and to really see this for what they say it is: intimidation, bullying, and a way to get kids to essentially go against what some parents may want for their children. But again, that's happening in California, where you've got a mom getting $100,000 settlement with a school district for this. But Governor J.B. Pritzker seeming to herald Illinois protecting those types of procedures on children, saying that he's sick and tired of seeing more and more states like Texas and the Supreme Court allowing a ban on certain types of medical procedures on children meant to alter their hormones or meant to alter forever their body. So, again, just wanted to highlight some of those priorities here with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY.